Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy and the security editions. These are recorded live Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern at Standard Time if you'd like to catch the show live. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. Of course, we did cover this first article in the supporter stream last night. So if you did not catch that, where we had some discussions about this branched off on apps, let's just go ahead and wrap it up for the people who did not catch that one there. A popular coffee business, that being Tim Hortons, was using its app to track user locations. They want to know your every movement in order to amplify its customer experience. So what was going on is the app was taking locations every few minutes. This guy, after looking into this stuff, he said that the app included GPS coordinates over 2,700 times in 5 months. The app logged his geolocations whenever he visited his parents' farm in rural Ontario, while being boarded on a flight in Toronto. Even when he checked into a Winnipeg hotel for a customer's wedding, Tim Hortons' app was keeping tabs. He felt the app was invading his privacy without even being honest about it. In his public share, the Canadian regulators felt that Tim Hortons was a matter worth looking into. The app didn't disappoint at all because it tracked copious amounts of geolocation every few minutes. All for free donuts, guys. You guys need to stop giving up basic privacy for free donuts. We did a deep dive on this discussion looking at the dangers of many phone apps yesterday. So go ahead and look at that. But the idea here is that all these restaurants are going to give you free apps so we can get through free coupons, all those type of things. No, they're just logging your location and collecting a lot of other private data. You should never, ever, ever use apps like this on your devices. If you want to go to their website to place an online order, I mean, first and foremost, are you that pressed for time you can't pull into Tim Hortons, walk in, get your coffee and donuts and leave? That takes all of about 2 minutes, guys. It probably takes you less time to park your car at Tim Hortons, since you're going there anyway to pick up the order, to walk in and place the order and get it and walk out. It probably takes you more time to do that on the app than it does going into the store, unless there's massive lines or whatever else. But that is what Tim Hortons is up to, and you can assume that every app for every food chain is doing the exact same thing. Well, Edge Canary gets built-in features for sharing files and notes across devices. It's a trap! It's a trap! Guys, do not use these features. The idea here is that what Microsoft is doing is they're syncing this to your OneDrive account, and it's going to allow you to easily share files. Kind of like Linux Mint put Warpinator in, except Warpinator, what that does is it requires both computers or devices to be available on the network at the same time, and it will send them directly peer-to-peer to each other. What this new file sharing application is doing is it is taking that information and it is storing it on your Microsoft account, which I will remind you, Microsoft has access to everything in that account. There is encryption keeping things safe going from your computer to that account, but once your files land on Microsoft servers, they can do with it whatever they want to do. And the idea here is to get, much more convenience. Convenience is always what happens with these things. It's much more convenient for you to drop the file in there and then just easily grab it on your phone or your tablet or your other computer, whatever else, to make it easier. But this is just giving Microsoft more of our data, and that's the last thing we need to do. So stop doing these things. This is not yet rolled out in Edge, but it is a feature that is coming up. So Edge Canary is the upcoming changes, basically the beta test channel for the Edge browser. And a private DuckDuckGo browser still allows Microsoft trackers. Yeah, they didn't tell us that in the fine print necessarily. So, of course, since DuckDuckGo uses Bing as its search provider backend, it turns out that when you are using DuckDuckGo all this time to avoid the evils of Google tracking, sure, they were blocking, Google trackers and a bunch of other trackers from the web, but they explicitly were not blocking Microsoft trackers, giving Microsoft all of your search information. This was part of their deal, of course. Yes, DuckDuckGo, you can use our stuff, sign the dotted line. And on that dotted line was that they are not allowed to block this. Now, if you dug through, extraordinarily small print in hidden places on the internet, you could probably find this. But these are some of those reasons why DuckDuckGo somebody's shooting at the duck. The duck is going to get hunted to death. I'm telling you guys, because we've had the scandals about curating search results. Got to deal with that misinformation. After all, I'm a red hat wearing white conservative guy. Well, can't listen to him. Got to spread that misinformation. That's completely factually true. It's just misinformation because Jana told you so. But you had that situation. There were a few other scandals in the middle of it. And then now it's known that they've been handing all this data to Microsoft. Of course, they're trying to work a deal to get away from this contract. This is why, by the way, Brave Search went ahead and did their system without using the external things. They started using some of the aggregated search results, but they never got that deep into it as DuckDuckGo did, and then they developed their own algorithm. DuckDuckGo has never done that. They've always relied on Bing, and that's always been their approach. So the other concern people have had about DuckDuckGo is it is also all run through AWS. So Amazon can see everything in there as well. If there's data or not that Amazon can get about your search histories, probably not, likely not, but there is still that possibility because everything is reliant on external Amazon contracted servers. All right, so the post here goes into some of these things. They say, they admitted the agreement allowed Microsoft to provide ads next to search results. Microsoft doesn't store ad click behavior data or its profile to users, but it doesn't mention trackers sending data through LinkedIn and Bing. So they were disclosing some of this information. They were not caught not disclosing others. So at this point in time, if you're still on DuckDuckGo, you should probably switch to something else. If you're not using Tor, Start Page is generally okay. If you are, I've been migrating away from Start Page myself. I just cannot stand that. Are you a human? Captcha check. Explain your IP address and what you're doing. You are a privacy-based search engine. It's none of your business. I pushed this search query. Give me my damn results. I mean, that's insane. I've been using Brave Search lately. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the company behind Brave. In fact, there was something I commented on Twitter. Tech Hut put some information out on Twitter. I think it was somebody that contacted him about it. He put it up on Twitter, commenting it wasn't a big deal. I kind of disagree. I dissent from that view because basically what Brave Browser was doing is they were basically buying postal ads and literally mailing Brave ads to people's direct-to-mail campaigns. And the problem is that you can actually track some of that stuff. You can actually de-anonymize some of the data of people who looked at it and people who came on to whatever else it was. Frankly, if it's perfectly private and secure and safe, if nothing else, it's tacky for a search and a web browser company to be mailing a paper flyer to everybody in some given blanketed neighborhood. That just screams of tackiness and desperation. So I'm not a huge fan of Brave either. I'm just saying as we have to constantly be adapting to our search engines, DuckDuckGo seems to show itself to be completely compromised. And if the duck goes belly up and dies, I'm not going to be shedding any tears over that. Well, you can help support the channel with our affiliates. Today we are highlighting Linode. You can actually go into your Linode account and with my affiliate link there, tlm.li/Linode, you can get $100 credit, good for 60 days. You can go to that account and you can create your own Cirex instance. So you can create your own search engine if you really want, which I've done that before and I played around with it for a little bit and it was kind of fun. My big hang up is I couldn't get it to set as the default. I'm sure I probably could if I figure it out, but Cirex was a really nice option, something you can do on Linode. Of course, there's lots of other things you can do on Linode as well. So there is that. You can use that affiliate code tlm.li/Linode, and that'll help the channel out. Well, guys, let's head on over to security news. So first up, a U.S. college VPN credentials end up for sale on a Russian crime forums. So people over there in Russia, as they're being kicked off of everything here, they can just log into from your local universities instead. Of course, universities use a lot of different services. They use VPNs. In fact, I think every university I've ever worked at, if you needed to do anything, they all had their own VPN credentials. So this isn't too out of the ordinary for them to have. But apparently, a bunch of those VPN credentials were leaked out onto the dark web, and the Russians picked them up, and so now you can buy VPN credentials on Russian servers. Come on, they need to bring up their revenue somehow, but that's kind of frightening, so keep an eye on that, and if you happen to work at a university cybersecurity, you might want to double check, make sure yours aren't there, or maybe revoke and fix them all. I don't know. Krebs on security when your smart ID card reader comes with malware. So the idea here is that a lot of companies are issuing these cool, amazing badges for all your different employee stuff. You got to have this. Well, you could actually get a card reader to use your IDs at home or whatever else. You could go online, and for only $14.47 on Amazon with 1 day shipping on Prime, you can use this Sacco DoD military USB common CAC smart card reader compatible with macOS, Windows, Linux, horizontal version, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you go to this guy and you need the drivers, you can go directly to their specific company. This isn't random stuff online. You can download the drivers, and then he ran them through some malware stuff and found all sorts of malware in these things. So maybe it's just better not to have a card reader at your house, and certainly not buy one from there. But thanks for contacting us. It says, we noted your issue. For the details, issue may probably caused by your computer security defense system, as it seems not recognized by our used driver, detected it as malicious or virus. Oh my lord, that is a hilarious thing. I mean, this guy's like, hey, you, Krebs on security, your computer security must not be good. I kind of wrote the book on security, you moron. Basically, they put together all of their stuff from, open source malware, whatever else. So don't get these card readers for your own personal stuff. Just, use other things to log into your house or whatever else. Well, new Windows subsystem for Linux malware steals browser auth cookies, so Linux is secure unless you're running it on Windows. So basically what's happening is by utilizing some shell commands, your security authorizations and tokens can be passed over into the Linux modules through a modified Python application. And basically the Linux can be exploited as if you're root, I guess. I didn't understand all of the fine details of this, not being a Windows user and certainly not using WSL. But just know that WSL is becoming a major target for hackers right now. So just be aware of that if you are using it, and read up on this so you can understand how best to mitigate any issues. All right, a new Windows Search 0 Day is giving Microsoft another security headache. So, of course, the new search thing will, you do a search on your basic computer and it will throw it out into the web too. As if we hey, Microsoft, can you at least let me do the searches on the web on the browser and let me just do a local search on the search bar? I really don't need to be searching for a file on my computer and get a link to a CD on Amazon. Okay, I just don't need. Did anybody ask for this? But it's so convenient. Yeah, it's so convenient that it caused a 0-day breach. Basically had to do with what the information is you put in there. So if you put certain stuff in here, then it would actually run and execute the commands and cause some serious vulnerability to your Windows machine. Well, that's always exciting, always what we want to know. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page, subscribestar.com/switch2linux. You can jump on over there and support us there. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from SwitchedToLinux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.